Hey everyone, welcome back to Sgcarmart. So, almost exactly 2 years ago, I was here in the UK to visit Polestar and learn more about one of its upcoming products, the Polestar 5. But back then, it was very much still a work in progress and we got to see this, the verification prototype, this exact one. But now, the car is finally finished and it has been officially launched and I'm gonna get to drive it.
The Polestar 5 was first previewed to the world by the Polestar Precept concept, and in the flesh it still retains a lot of that concept car visual character.
So at the front you can see some quite distinctive Polestar signatures, right? So you have your dual blade headlights and it is quite a low slung car. This is a sporty GT. And this is really quite a low slung car. It is just 1.42 meters tall and that's quite surprising for an EV. However, the car's most distinctive and eye-catching angle, I think, is at the back. At the rear, we have this really distinctive light signature and it really gives the car that sci-fi look, right? It really wouldn't look out of place in something like a Blade Runner movie. Also, it does not have a rear windscreen and that's something that we've also seen in the Polestar 4. Now let's go jump inside the car and check it out. So here in the backseat, a couple of interesting things to point out, right? So like I mentioned, this is quite a low slung car, just 1.42 meters tall. But as you can see, actually headroom is quite reasonable, right? I'm 1.7 meters tall and I can sit really quite comfortably. And that's partially due to the fact that they've removed that rear windscreen so they can move that roof line a little bit, right? And also another interesting solution is the fact that the battery pack here has been reconfigured such that there's essentially a little well here where you can put your feet, and the result is really quite a comfortable space. Also interesting is the fact that this is technically a 5-seater, but not really. It's what they call a 2+1. So as you can see here, there is technically a middle seat, but don't really want to be sitting there. On either side, you can see that these are essentially like bucket seats, right? So almost identical to the ones in front. And in the center console, you have a bunch of controls. This is still technically a pre-production car, so not everything works, but I can tell you that there will be things like ventilated seats, heated seats, you can control the aircon, and also the massage function. We also do have to talk about the materials, right? So one of Polestar's key pillars is sustainability. So obviously everything here is designed in a sustainable way. So you got this bridge of wheel leather. This is like, you know, really sustainable, really expensive leather. We also have this material over here. So this is made of natural fibers and it's weaved in a very particular Polestar weave. So this is unique to this car. And we also have more like fiber materials here. Carpets are made of recycled plastic. All in all, a very premium space, a very comfortable space. I've got no complaints at all. Let's go jump into the front. Now here in the front, it's definitely a more familiar, recognizable Polestar space. I think the aesthetic is very minimalist, that's very Polestar, right? Steering wheel looks familiar from the Polestar 3 and 4. We have a 14.5-inch infotainment system here. Again, this is pre-production, so it's not fully sort of complete, but you know, it's going to be running your Android OS. It's got all the necessary features and functions you would want. No surprises over here. In terms of the rest of the cabin, you can see it's a very simple space, right? So as far as controls concerned, we literally just have one knob over here that controls your volume. We have a wireless charging pad. The notable thing, of course, is the digital rear view mirror. We do not have a rear windscreen. I've been on record as saying that I really like this system. I understand some people don't, but in this car, you don't really have a choice, but I think it works perfectly well. I have no complaints at all. So yes, that's a look at the inside of the car. I think it's quite impressive. It feels expensive. It feels premium. It feels quite spacious as well. But I think most importantly, we need to drive this car, so let's go take it out on the road. Let's talk about some of the specs and numbers on this car first. The big development is the bespoke bonded aluminum chassis. So it's supposed to offer both improved torsional rigidity as well as to be more lightweight.
It's a bespoke platform called the Polestar Performance Architecture, featuring bespoke steering and suspension components and Magnarite dampers on the performance model. The car also uses compact double wishbone front suspension, which is unique to the segment. The rear electric motor is developed in-house and together with the front motor in this performance model produces 650 kilowatts and 1015 Newton meters of torque, which is an absurd amount of performance. The car uses a 112 kilowatt-hour battery which will provide up to 565 km of range, and 800-volt architecture supports up to 350 kilowatts of DC charging.
So the Polestar 5 is chasing that duality between driver-focused performance as well as passenger-focused comfort. And first impressions is that this is quite a gentle car. So I'm driving it in its, I guess, lighter setting, right? So steering feel light, suspension feels standard, and one pedal drive low. It feels very comfortable, it feels very easy to drive. The steering is actually really quite light, right? So just little movements here, and you can see the car moving around a little bit. You know, it's not a car that immediately shouts out its immense performance, and it has immense performance. This car will do 0 to 100 in 3.1 seconds. I was doing it in like 2.7, 2.8 seconds just now. So, you know, there's a lot of performance on tap, but you don't immediately feel that because, you know, power delivery is very smooth, it's very well modulated, it's not spiky that you might expect from some really sort of high-powered EVs. And the steering feel is very natural, I would say. You know, it's an electric steering, but it feels accurate, it feels quite nimble, and the car moves about in a way that feels very natural. And that's a little bit surprising because this is a big heavy car. This is 2.5 tons, it's over 5 meters long. But when you're driving it, you don't really feel it. And I guess that's that bespoke chassis doing its work, right? So that's not to say that this car doesn't have performance, because it has plenty and plenty of performance on tap. So if you just push it a little bit harder, look, if I just put my foot down, oh, okay, yeah, that's that 1000 Newton meters of torque doing its work. And yeah, so if I take it through a few quicker corners here, I think the thing that most impresses me is the fact that while mentally you know this is a big, heavy car, it doesn't actually feel like they're on the road. It disguises its weight and size very, very well, right? You don't feel that you have, probably 3 over meters of car behind you. And that's quite impressive. It does a very good job of hiding that size. And again, I think that's that bespoke chassis doing its job. So the Polestar 5 is the brand's first product that is fully developed in-house from the ground up, and it definitely shows. It's its own thing, right? It's definitely got a distinct personality, and it's very different from products like the Polestar 2, 3 or 4. Polestar brands this as a performance GT, and I'll say it's a car that's GT all the time and performance on demand.
But being a bespoke product also naturally means that it's an expensive car to develop and will certainly be an expensive car to buy. The current indicative pricing suggests that this car will cost over $700,000 in Singapore.
This is not going to be a volume model, and even Polestar admits as much. But maybe that's okay. Maybe Polestar doesn't need to sell a lot of Polestar 5s. Really, they need the Polestar 5 to exist as a way to demonstrate the brand's ambitions and the brand's capabilities. And I must say, from my brief experience with it, I think it's a really well executed endeavor. So yes, that's my first impressions driving the new Polestar 5. What do you think about this car? Let us know in the comment section below. And of course, remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel. And you can also hit the notification bell to be alerted of all our upcoming videos. And of course, you can find us on TikTok at Sgcarmart. So that's my time here in Millbrook done. I'll see you back home. Bye!